Next, I read the first 11 books in the Charlie Davidson series. Okay, technically here I only have 8 of them, but I've read all 11. I'm waiting for number 12 and 13 to come out this year. And these books consist of... So that series is about a private eye named Charlie Davidson who is known since the day she was born. A lot of things. She's been able to see ghosts. She has known every language ever spoken, and she eventually throughout her life figured out that she is the Grim Reaper, and it is her job to help souls cross to the other side, which most times involves her investigating their deaths, because a lot of ghosts either can't remember what happened to them, want to know who killed them, or want the person who killed them to be behind bars, or, and this is very rare, for her to pass a message on to their loved ones before they cross through her. And so now we're going to go through what I thought of the books and their ratings. Here we go. First grave on the right is your introduction to Charlie and her world and a mystery person who she met when she was younger and who plays a big role in the rest of the series. And in between each mystery she has in every single book, she's also has like this bigger mystery. She's solving little cases here and there, you know, someone lost this or wants to find this or wants her to prove or disprove that their husband is cheating. But even behind the scenes, she's got this whole bigger mystery brewing. The main big one in here is who is this mystery person who Charlie has always referred to her life as the big bad. Why does he keep saving her, and who is he? And I gave this one a 4-star rating. Second grave on the left, I think I also gave this one a 4-star rating. Third grave dead ahead, I gave a 3-star rating. Fourth grave beneath my feet, I also gave a 3-star rating. Fifth grave past the light, I gave a 5-star rating. Sixth grave on the edge, I gave a 4-star rating. Seventh grave and no body, I gave a 4-star rating. Eighth grave after dark, I gave a somewhere between a 3.5 and a 4-star rating. I also read Shimmer, which is book 5.5. It is a novella. It is basically a moment between Charlie and Reyes from Reyes's point of view. And then, I'm sorry, from Charlie's point of view. And then I read Glow, which is book 5.6. Again, another novella, which both of these you can find on Dorinda Jones's website for free. And it is that same moment from Reyes' point of view, and you kind of get to see each other through each of their perspectives. From the books, you already know how Charlie sees Reyes, but then now you get to see how Reyes sees Charlie. Not only as a person, but as a magical, spiritual being. And every book after book 5, you actually learn more about what Charlie is. She's not just the Grim Reaper. She was a specific celestial being before she became the Grim Reaper, and in book 7 and 8 you actually find out who she is, and it is mind-blowing. I mean, I kind of suspected something like it, but not actually what she was. I also read books, which is actually Dirt on the Ninth Grave. I can give you a second, I gotta see what it's about. I can't quite remember. Eventually all the books, because I read them back to back, kind of smooshed together. So there are certain ones where I think, oh, this happened. And it's like, no, that was 3 books later. So just give me a second. Okay, so Dirt on the Ninth Grave, I gave a 3-star rating. Then I read Curse of the 10th, and also a 3-star rating. And then 11th Grave in Moonlight, which is the one I just finished. An audiobook, not physical book, because I don't have it. This one I'm going to give a 3.5. There's actually a funny part in this book, because in the 10th curse, I want to say, I think it was the end of the 10th curse, she kissed somebody who was not Reyes, and she allowed them to see what she is. And because of that, when she meets up with that same person in book 11, he keeps bowing to her. And she's like, stop worshiping me. I don't like it. It was funny. And so book 12 and 13 are supposed to be coming out this year. And so I can't wait to continue on with those. Overall, so far in the series, I would give the series a 3.7. Not quite a 4-star yet, but there are 2 more books to go in the series. So I am looking forward to them. Okay. So that's all the physical books slash audiobooks. I read this during last year and the beginning of this year. So now we have to go to my Goodreads reading list to see the ebooks I've read. First book I'm seeing was back in October, and that is Persephone Remembers the Pomegranates. Can't remember what that one's about, but apparently I really liked it because I gave it a 4-star rating. And that was by Samantha McLeod, something like that. And then Hunter the Biker Next Door by Joanna Blake. Ooh, I found her pretty recently in the last few months, and she's made some really good biker books. And I gave that one a 3-star rating. That one was about a girl who comes to help live with her grandmother for a while she finished graduating college, and then she decides that she's going to go to school to be a nurse. So she's living with her grandma at the moment, and then she meets the biker next door. And they hit it off really fast, really quick. But since it's a novella, you gotta expect them to jump into bed pretty quickly. I gave that one also a 3-star rating. Next was The Dragon's Treasure by N.J. Walters. This is an erotica. And this is about a girl who used to be a slave, mainly a sex slave, to one specific person. And she escapes him, and then his men come after her. And the only way she can keep from being caught was to pretend to be with this one man who she eventually finds out is a shape-shifting dragon. And I gave that one a 3-star rating. I really like that one. I actually think I have read it before that time. It seemed familiar, but it was probably back before I actually started using Goodreads to keep track. Next was The Warrior's Mate by Tiana Titan. And I gave that one a 3-star rating. It is about these, I don't know what to call them. They're definitely aliens, but I don't know quite what to call them. They were kind of sort of shapeshifters, but I can't describe what the heck they shift into. It described it, and I couldn't even tell you what the heck it was. So I gave that one a 3-star rating, and it is about a warrior king who ends up, when they take a whole bunch of females, she's one of them, and she's like I want to say she was like a sergeant or lieutenant in the army. So she's used to leading people, and their women on their planet were mostly submissive. So of course he gets her and he's like, whoa, what the hell is going on? But it was kind of funny to see for him to have to adjust himself, because he's like, you're not supposed to be telling me what to do. The women are supposed to be more, you know, submissive. And she's like, well, you're not getting submission with me. But it was funny. But it was kind of sweet at the same time. Next was Paying the Debt. Ooh, I really liked that one. That one I gave a 4.5-star rating. It is by Faye Madison, or Madison Faye. I can't remember how Goodreads does this. So this is about a girl whose father loses a card game with this big mafia boss. And the mafia boss asks for her, or he really doesn't ask for her. He wants her though. And when her father offers her up as the payment, of course he snaps her up. And so she comes to his house. She's assuming she's going to be a maid, a cook, something like that. Some way working in his household. And then he tells her that he's been eyeing her for years and that he wants her. And of course she wants him too. And she actually, I believe she met him at a wedding for one of his lower henchmen. And I believe he didn't remember her, but she remembers him. And then they hit it off pretty quickly. As I said, this is a pretty short book. I want to say it's 200. No, it can't be 200 pages. It's way too short for that. 100 and some pages at least. But it's very short, very quick, but really good if you're looking for something a little spicy. Especially if you're looking for a possessive, powerful man. Definitely that one. I read a book that a friend linked me called Rape. And it was not my cup of tea. What it says in the title actually did happen in the book, just it wasn't my cup of tea. I gave that one a 1-star. Next, I have Knocked Up by the Dom by Penelope Bloom. This one I gave a 3-star rating. It's about a girl who has a one-night stand with this guy in an airport, of all places. He owns the airport, but it's still an airport. And so she finds out a few months later that she's pregnant. And she doesn't contact him. I think 2 years pass by before he runs into her again. And then he eventually finds out that they have a son. And so he's determined not to only finally be with her because he's been searching for her for those 2 years. He finally decides to be with her, and he wants to be a part of his son's life, and it was pretty good. The ending was kind of abrupt for me, but it was still very good. So I read Significance by Shelley Crane, and this is kind of a supernatural realism, I want to say. I've never actually read one of those, but that's kind of what it felt like to me. And so it's about a girl who finally graduates high school after her mom up and leaves her dad, taking everything they have with them, including her saved college fund. And so of course she doesn't have a scholarship or anything, so she's trying to make her own way to college. She's working a job. She's pretty much working 2 jobs really, because she's going to school, taking care of her dad, and going to work at the same time. And so she ends up finally agreeing after this guy asking her all senior year to go out on a date with him. So she agrees, and on the way to his house to meet him, she runs into his cousin. Some things happen. The guy almost gets hit by a car. She snatches him back, and they walk, and he thanks her, walks her to his cousin's house. They go to shake hands, and then boom, they imprint, or at least that's what they call it. It's kind of like a soul binding thing where the 2 people their souls apparently saw something in each other in that split moment of touch, and they've imprinted. So of course the guy she's supposed to be going on the date with is mad and irritated, and he's just being a real brat about it, honestly. Throughout the whole book, he does everything he can to make that girl feel uncomfortable. Or maybe he's not trying to, but he is. Like, if she's wearing a bikini, he'll eye her, even knowing that she can hear his thoughts because she now has a power of her own, because of the soul binding. She can hear his thoughts. He knows it. He knows it makes her uncomfortable, but he still does it. He's convinced somehow that if she were to give him a chance instead of Caleb, the guy she actually imprinted with, that the imprint will somehow switch and that he will be her imprint, which is not how it works. At least that's not what I understood from the book. And anyway, so the first book was kind of long, but it was also really interesting, and you learn that it's not just their family who has this. There are other different families, or clans as they call it, everywhere who have it. Of course they keep it a secret though, and it supposedly has never happened with 2 people so young, because I believe she's 17, almost 18, and he's 21, 22, something like that. So apparently it does happen in your mid to late 20s, but it's never happened to someone so early. So of course there are more difficulties for them because A, she lives with her father, and apparently them being apart before they ascend, I think it was called, is painful for them. So there are all sorts of different complications because they can't be together all the time, and then the dad starts getting kind of suspicious when he sees that they are spending so much time together. But it was a really, really good book. I think I gave that one a 3.7. Then I reread the first 5 books in the Betsy Taylor / Undead series. So first I read Undead and Unwed. Just as funny as I remember. Maybe a little less funny than I remember, because I remember like being in stitches the first time. And there were still some very funny moments, because Betsy is kind of vapid in some ways and shallow in others. And she has an obsession for Prada shoes. And she's like 6 feet tall, I believe. And imagine that really ditzy girl who loved Prada purses in high school. That's Betsy. And her best friend is the richest girl in the country, and she's also black, which of course, them being in like, I think like Montana or something, is not, while she's completely accepted, her stepmother is just a pain to her, because she always calls her the help, even though Jessica, Betsy's friend, is even richer than Betsy's father, and Betsy's father is like in one of those multi-million-dollar houses for 2 people. I mean, that's just ridiculous. I mean, if you had like 5 kids or something, sure, but you're 2 people living in I don't know, a huge mansion. I don't even know the footage to say, because I think my house is like 1,500 feet. So, and that's a nice size for the people who live here, but their house is just way too big. So that one, like I said, funny. All these books are funny. They're not as like my sides are hurting funny as I remember them being, but they're still pretty funny. But of course, I read them years ago originally first. before even Goodreads. So Undead and Unwed I reread, and I gave this time a 3-star rating. Undead and Unemployed I gave a 3-star rating. Undead and Unappreciated I gave a 3-star rating also. Undead and Unreturnable I gave a 3-star rating. And Undead and Unpopular I also gave a 3-star rating. And that's as far as I've gotten in my reread of this series. But I think there's like, there's 15 books in this series. Yeah, there's 15 books in this series and a few comic books, I think. So that is my wrap up for the last 5 months. And this is going to take forever to edit. I know it. So I will see you guys next time I see you. I'll see you guys. Bye!